Hey guys, big 10x coming in this weekend on the 3rd of the month with Shield champions this time, and of course Brogni will not be included in this one. Brogni is notorious as one of the best Shield champions in the game, but he's not included in this 10x. Unfortunately, I think because they've included him in past 10x's before and they didn't want to have too many of the guy running around or something. So this 10x, let's get started with the void one. It's going to be Blind Seer right here. This champion is quite cool, oftenly used after her buff, which changed the way that the block debuffs that she applies works. It's a 3-turn cooldown down, a 2-turn duration, and then she also applies a shield buff. This is quite good because it's based on her own max HP, so the shield is okay. But what she also provides is a revive that can be useful in situations when your whole team dies. She plays a block damage buff after she revives them, and she tries to protect them in that sense because they're going to be reviving at 35% health. Pretty solid champion. Not so much used anymore because of other alternatives, but definitely a solid one to have. I wouldn't personally summon for her, and I would keep my voids because there's much better champions that do very similar skills and are not void. So I would say keep your voids and wait for something else that's a non-void that's going to be useful in these kind of events if you plan on pulling. All right, if you plan on pulling. But of course, we will be having a fusion starting up on the, well, a week from now on the 9th, I guess, or on the 7th, on the 9th, I think. So better save your shards instead of summon and try your luck, because in that sense, when the fusion comes, you'll at least have a guaranteed legendary there compared to here where it's just a chance. But it's all up to you. Next up is Archbishop Pilthroy. If we go to the Sacred Order, I do have this guy. This one is pretty solid for the Hydra, if the Hydra is something that you want to be doing. So he does a big heal on the A3. That's where he plays his increased defense. And then if 4 more allies are alive, he also plays a shield buff on each ally for 2 turns, equal to 30% of their max HP. So this is different than the one before, right? Because this shield depends on your own allies' max HP. So let's say a Royal Guard for the Hydra team has 40,000 health. That's not a big shield to give him like 12,000 health. That's solid, but still not the biggest shield ever compared to having, let's say, a shield based on this guy's max HP, because you can get him to 80,000 health. That's a way bigger shield. That's like double the shield of about 20k compared to the one that he gives. Like so, the reason that he's also great is because of block buffs, debuff on all enemies, heal reduction, increase accuracy on your allies, which helps for the Hydra. I've seen a team using him, which is quite strong, but even so, I wouldn't be so excited to get him compared to, let's say, one of the other champions available for this 10x, which we'll be looking at next. Exactly next is gonna be the one and only Valkyrie. This is a beaut and an amazing shield champion. She can be both used in PvP if you want to use a champion for PvP. The reason is this one. This champion's turn meter will be increased by 10% each time an enemy champion places a buff. Right? Enemy champions will have their turn meters decreased by 10% for each buff they receive. So it's a good way against, let's say, a CP that will be speed boosting to actually steal a lot of turn meter. You build the Valkyrie with a lot of turn meter. She steals the turn meter, she gains a turn, and then she goes in and attacks with the A1, which also decreases turn meter by 10% on each hit if the target has any buffs. And if you've got the mastery called Evil Eye, you will also be reducing the turn meter by 20% because this is a single target attack. All right, very, very solid in terms of PvP, but also this skill is a make or break in terms of non-unkillable teams. You saw what Hell Hades could do with his team. When we did that clan boss competition, he had a Valkyrie team that basically protected the whole team with those big ass shields for so long. Very, very strong, especially if you got like an increased defense buff already placed on her from another champion. She does a big shield. You build her with 7,000 defense or higher, and you will not believe how long your team will survive with a 3-turn duration, 3-turn cooldown shield, counterattack buff for 2 turns. This is insane. This is a must-have champion. If I could give it to everybody, I would, but the 10x odds in these kind of events are quite low, so it's just down to luck, honestly. All right. Next one on the list is going to be the last dwarf champion with a shield. It's going to be Boragar. This one was featured, I think, in a guaranteed summoning event. I didn't get so excited to get him, but places shield buff on all allies for 2 turns equal to 20% of this champion's max HP. So this guy is an HP based with a little bit more health than support based champions. So 21,000. I mean, this is the usual amount that HP based champions have that are so defensive. The shield is okay because it's based on his health. 3 turn cooldown, it's still okay. It's a cleanse plus a big shield. It's solid. He also has this, which makes him unique: increased resistance and increased speed buff on all allies for 2 turns on a 4 turn duration, 4 turn cooldown. And the increased resistance buff is good, but it's not as good as other buffs. The increased resistance can be good if you manage to go first to protect your team, because the enemy team will be going next, right? But because of so many champions available out at the moment with very high accuracy, or let's say an increased accuracy buff, increased resistance can become difficult to actually do some work, because it also means that you have to be faster. If you're faster, why would you build this guy instead of somebody else? It begs the question of use for Boragar. Also, allies receive 10% less damage from champions whose resistance is lower than or equal to theirs. So this actually also helps enable this much easier compared to, let's say, building a resistance team to actually benefit from that. So pretty good. He also has an increased defense buff for 1 turn on the ally with the lowest HP. Quite solid, I would say. But this, I think this does not apply it on himself. Yeah, and has a 100% chance instead if this attack is critical. So you should also build him with crit. It's weird, but that's how it works. And his crits allow for protection of your allies with a big buff. Yeah, and it's also weird that it has this chance right here, but it's a 100% chance if the attack is critical. Like, why have this if you're also gonna have this? Maybe if you had here like a thing called he has 5% chance more to crit with this skill, 10% chance more to crit. I guess they didn't think of that so much. And then we've got some epics available. The void one will be Skathix right here. Skathix is a decent, I would say, void support type champion. He's got a nice resistor that I like, 40 resistance there. And then he's got some nice shields on his A3 skill. All right, 18,000 health is what he has, and provides a shield buff equal to 20% of this champion's max HP. 4 turn cooldown is useful for the Lizardmen, but the Lizardmen also have this epic right here, which is free to fuse. So if you're looking for some kind of support, this guy is very solid for supporting you through the faction wars. So don't pull in order to get like this guy to support you. If you get him, you get him. If not, then just keep your voids, I would say, in this one. Next one, we got Valkyrie. Valkyrie is a non-void champion that was featured in videos before. I think I did a video on him on my channel. He's good for Bommel, but I wouldn't say he's that great for Bommel. Very specific shield that he has on all allies with less than 50% health, and then the shield is equal to 15% of the target's max HP. So of the target's max HP, it's weird. Yeah, I think it means the allies max HP, but still a 4 turn cooldown. He also has this great passive which helps for Bommel, but really with Templar you can actually do Bommel quite easier than you could before. And I would say focus on building a Templar instead of a Valkyrie, and try to do the Bommel instead with that champion. All right, so Valkyrie was next, and then we go Melka, Steel Griddle, a dwarf. Let's go Melka. She's got a nice revive, which also provides a shield. Also plays a shield buff on the revived allies for 2 turns equal to 30% of their max HP. This is a very specific shield. Although great for faction wars, she'll help you revive basically and protect you. This is a 5 turn cooldown, and it only buffs the revived allies. So be careful with that if you're looking to have some kind of protection to your team. This will only apply to the champion's revived. She also has a shield though on the A2, which counters that, and plays a shield buff on all allies equal to 20% of this champion's max HP. 3 turn cooldown, quite solid actually if you build her tanky. And then plays a continuous heal buff on all allies for 2 turns. I think her plus Brogni basically made it so easy on my season 1 free-to-play journey to finish off that faction. the faction wars for dwarves. It was quite easy, and I was very surprised to have such a strong team with them two together. Let's say somebody died, she would revive, and Brogni would protect the whole team. Then finally, we have this one champion that is solid, but I think he needs a lot of books, if I remember correctly. Lordran right here. He was featured as a fusion requirement champion in the past. And he's got a shield buff on all allies for 2 turns equal to 20% of this champion's max HP. This is alright because it's a 2-turn cooldown, 2-turn duration. And it's based on his health. So can be used for that annoying Doom Tower boss, the Scarab, whatever it's called. And the shield is quite useful for that one because you want to have the shield always be up. And in the sense that you make him the fastest, he always has this cooldown available. He always places it, so everybody's always protected and hitting with the shield on already. So the Scarab is not so annoying. Removes all debuffs from one ally, then places a 50% ally protection buff on that ally for 2 turns. This is solid too, in terms of cleansing, 3-turn cooldown. But it's a single target and a decreased attack on the A1. Quite solid, I would say as well. This was the 10x, guys. As I said, the voids, not worth it. If you're looking to be like really lucky and get a Valkyrie, then great. But 10x's, especially 1 week before a fusion starting, I wouldn't recommend. If you are lucky, you'll be lucky and get the champion that you're praying for in the future. Well, this was the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.